Sound of the Sky is almost unlike anything you'll find from its creator, A1 Pictures. A studio almost defined by its numerous adaptations, Sound of the Sky was created in an effort to promote entirely original new anime. It's unfortunate that, despite the focus on creating an entirely new franchise, Sound of the Sky's character designs took a few too many cues from K-On!, with many labeling it as a clone. While the character design does have apparent parallels with K-On!'s, the similarities stop there. Looking past the art style, there's a character-driven show with a unique, interesting world as well. Coming in the year 2010, Sound of the Sky is criminally underrated, and a beautiful show. It's the first show I'm going to cover in a new series I'm dubbing Gems of the 2010's. I'm going to try and make a video on one anime from the 2010s decade each month. After all, it is 2020 next year. Despite the nation not currently being in a conflict, Private Kanata Sorami joins the Helvetian army to learn the trumpet. Kanata, driven by a fateful childhood encounter with a trumpet-wielding soldier, joins the Helvetian army. This surprises her fellow soldiers, not because it's a girl joining the army, but because her nation is experiencing a rare but fleeting time of peace. Not only that, but joining the army to learn an instrument is a rather unique reason. She's assigned to the Clock Tower Fortress in the quaint town of Sais, home to the Clock Tower Maidens of legend. With her new squad, she grows up and learns her place in this doomed world. The world of Sound of the Sky is incredibly captivating. The town of Sais in the show is unbelievably beautiful. Modeled after the real-life town of Cuenca, Spain, the show uses real-life references to its benefit to create an exotic, lived-in town filled with festivals and shops. While the town is never the real focus of the show, it contributes greatly to just how odd the world of Sound of the Sky is. It's a Spanish town with people who speak Japanese, use German weaponry, and celebrate Chinese festivals. The mishmash of cultures ties into the plot. As the habitable space of the world continually declines, the people left and their cultures begin to mix together. The world and various tidbits we're told about it create a really interesting story that people can only really speculate about the big picture on. As time goes on in the show, it's fun to pick apart small details found in the world, and speculate as to how things like the Roman army using American weapons came to be, or why the people of Cuenca can no longer read Japanese kanji. Two more aspects of the show that have spawned endless speculation are the winged demons and the shrine maidens. Are these demons some ancient living weapon? Are they aliens whose invasion devastated the land? The shrine maidens, represented by our main girls, are another interesting point of lore. I'll leave discussion of the shrine maidens legend out of the video, as it's explained in two ways during the climax of the show as well. Sound of the Sky's world is intriguing. It coined the term specula, and threads on A to this day still question and speculate about its intricacies. However, the nature of Sound of the Sky's world is just inherently depressing. Habitable land is constantly being swallowed up, and the remaining few people are doomed to an eternal conflict over those tiny few scraps left. The squad comes to terms with the inevitable end of the world, and despite that, they give life their all. They ponder their dreams and how they can improve their lives and the ones of the people around them, in the world they all love, despite its depressive nature. Sound of the Sky is a very optimistic, hopeful show, despite the depressing nature of the setting. Most of what I've described so far has been in the background of the show. In the foreground, we have the plot and characters the show revolves around. While the world is largely in the background, the actual story itself is equally interesting. Like I mentioned before, our main character, Kanata Sorami, joins the Helvetian army to become a trumpeter. At the Clock Tower Fortress, she meets the other members of her platoon, Noelle, Felicia, Rio, and Kureha. Each of the characters searches to find their place in the world. Kanata's realization about the power of music draws back to her experiences as a child in episode 1, and leads to a superb ending. Her growth not only as a musician, but as a member of the squad, is engaging to follow throughout the story. The other characters each have an episode to shine. There's Felicia, who nurtures the younger members of the squad like a mother figure, and has to make difficult executive decisions during the plot's climax. Noelle, who has to come to terms with her past deeds, and Rio, whose role in the world she actively tries to run away from. Kureha's story revolves around finding out the truth behind her inspiration and role model. The story of Sound of the Sky is largely character-based, but there are some overarching plot lines that are engaging as well. A lot of the characters will get their own individual episodes to shine before moving on to someone else in the cast. However, continuing throughout the show are various B-plots that come together in the climax. The Takemi Kazuchi is a broken down spider-like tank that the squad is trying to fix. It's our look into the old world and its lost technology. The tank is almost incomprehensibly advanced for our characters, and much of the technology has been lost to the times. While never the outright focus, we'll sometimes see the characters venturing out to try and find parts for the tank. Needless to say, it's pretty cool, and seeing it slowly progress throughout the show leads to a really satisfying conclusion. Seemingly progressing in tandem with the Takemi Kazuchi is Kanata's music. While she may naturally be able to understand musical keys, her ability to initially play music is, well, it's never really the outright focus of an episode, a B-plot at most, but she does progress throughout the show, and her scene where playing music clicks is really nice. Sound of the Sky is, at its core, a slice of life show. The daily lives of the squad and their regular actions around town are the meat of the show. While the overall story is interesting, the various standalone episodes the show has is truly where it shines. Episodes such as the hiking trip are truly special. We see the characters bond over their journey and also look at the old world and the encroaching no man's land, looming ever closer. We also have relaxing episodes, fitting of the slice of life genre of the show, where some of the squad explore the town and go on a shopping trip. There's also the exciting climax, which I won't spoil. Of course, there's also what's on your screen. I'm talking about visuals. While very derivative back in 2010, reminiscent of other popular shows at the time, the art style was naturally popular for a reason. The characters are charming and cute. Most notable is probably the characters' outfits. Their army uniforms are reminiscent of old German World War II military outfits, but with tweaks to the cuffs and collars, black with a white stripe. The little changes make the outfits more than just copies of the original, and I can't help but think the cuffs seal the deal for the outfit. They're large enough to seem almost poofy and make the traditionally male outfit a little more feminine. Truthfully, I'm not a fashion expert or anything, so maybe I'm reading a little too far, but I think the outfits in this show are rather well designed. While I think the overall visual design is solid, the animation is largely par for the course, and at times limited. There are various sequences in the anime where, instead of animating it proper, they opt to use still frames. Perhaps the show made without pre-existing media was risky, and it didn't quite have the budget it needed. Despite these few scenes, it would be unfair to say the animation was outright poor. It's never terrible or anything, but there's nothing I would say that's truly spectacular. I couldn't point to a sequence in the show to demonstrate its amazing animation or sakuga or anything though. It'd be impossible to discuss Sound of the Sky without mentioning its gorgeous soundtrack. Done by the talented Michiru Oshima, who's behind other works such as the Tatami Galaxy and the Little Witch Academia OVA. It's honestly hard to put into words how good it is. There's this sweeping, exciting theme from when Kanata explores the town in the festival. The depressing, melancholic theme of the doomed world, which accompanies the girls seeing the true nature of war and their Earth. And of course, the beautiful rendition of Amazing Grace, which I'll let you guys watch for yourself. I couldn't forget the opening song, which accompanies pictures of our shrine maidens in renditions of classical artwork. The soundtrack of this show has been on my playlists for years, and I get swept up in its sound every time a song shows up. The soundtrack might actually be my choice for the most beautiful original soundtrack in all of anime. Yes, I like it that much. With such excellent music, it's easy to forget the voice acting work put into this show. I'm also fond of her work as Squid Girl, but Kanata's voice actress does an excellent job in this show. In addition, Ryo's voice actress is really wonderful as well. Sound of the Sky is a truly special anime. It's a show unlike anything else I've seen, and every aspect of it works in tandem to create one of the most compelling shows I've ever had the pleasure of watching. If you're a fan of slices of life, or perhaps just thought the show sounded interesting, please give it a watch. It's a show that's flown under the radar for many years, and it's truly unfortunate. I mentioned it earlier, but I'm going to release one video for every month of 2019, based on an anime from this decade. I'll spotlight some shows like this that are off the radar, but I'll also talk a lot about my favorites. I hope you stay tuned for other videos in this series. Thanks for watching.